I didn't mean to buy a legend. I was just looking for scrap. The salvage yards of port. Kestrel were the kind of place where forgotten wars went to rot. Twisted hull plates from battles nobody remembered. Burnt-out exoframes once worn by heroes who never got statues. Crates stamped with alien script that insurance companies had written off decades ago. That's where I made my living, buying junk cheap, fixing what I could, and reselling to collectors or frontier colonies. It wasn't glamorous, but it paid for fuel and food, and if I was lucky, the occasional decent drink. That day, the rain was acidic enough to hiss when it hit the metal piles. The sky glowed dull orange, the color of a tired star dying slow. That's when I saw it at first. It didn't look like a motorcycle. It was too wrong. The frame was long and low, forged from some matte black alloy that didn't rust despite sitting in open air for years. The wheels weren't wheels, more like rotating rings of segmented metal, humming faintly even while powered down. No visible exhaust, no controls I recognized, and yet something about it felt alive. The vendor noticed me staring and laughed nervously. "Don't touch that thing," he said. Came out of a sealed crate from the Orion Quiet War. No markings. No registry. Buyers keep backing out. Why? I asked. He leaned in. Because every time someone scans it, the scanner crashes. That should have been my cue to walk away. Instead, I asked the price. He named a number so low I almost felt insulted. Then I realized he was afraid of it. I paid in cash, the bike that shouldn't exist, back in my workshop. I spent 3 days just staring at it. No serial numbers. No manufacturer stamp. No known energy signature. When I finally tried powering it up, the lights in my shop flickered and then stabilized. Like the bike was politely borrowing power instead of taking it. A holographic interface bloomed into existence. Not alien, human, not English, either Terran military standard. Pre-expansion. My heart skipped. That language hadn't been used in over 80 years. The interface displayed a single line. Unit status. Dormant pilot required. I swallowed. Pilot. I whispered. I put my hand on the seat. The bike woke up. A ghost from a forgotten war. The moment I mounted it, the world clicked. The bike adjusted automatically, seat contour shifting, balance recalibrating, gravity stabilizers humming. I didn't touch a throttle, but it knew what I wanted. I rolled out of the workshop and into the open night. The first acceleration nearly tore my arms off. No roar, no scream, just pure, silent force. I crossed the city limits in under 10 seconds. That's when the bike spoke, not out loud, in my head. Neural link established. Welcome. Pilot, my breath caught. Who built you? I asked. The bike paused. Classified. Figures they start asking questions within a week. People noticed Port Kestrel was used to fast vehicles, smugglers, couriers, even military patrols. But nothing moved like this. Sensors couldn't track it properly. Traffic cams showed glitches where I passed. One time, a security drone tried to scan me and dropped out of the sky like it had forgotten how to fly. That's when the first offer came. A corporate rep, smiling too much. Credits enough to buy a moon. I said no. Then came the second offer. An alien delegation, Varkesh, Dominion. A species that had once fought humans to a standstill. They recognized the bike the moment they saw it. Their ambassador's frills flattened in terror. "That vehicle," he whispered, "is impossible." "Why?" I asked. He looked at me like I'd asked why stars burn. Because the humans never deployed it, he said. And if they had, the war would have ended in days. The truth comes out that night. I accessed deeper systems. The bike didn't resist. It allowed the truth spilled into my mind in fragments, images, data bursts, half-remembered commands. The bike was part of Project Knight Rider, a Black Ops human military initiative. So secret it had been erased before deployment. The concept was terrifying in its simplicity. One pilot, one machine. Total battlefield dominance. The bike wasn't just transport, it was a weapon platform, reconnaissance unit, electronic warfare hub, an autonomous combat AI wrapped into something fast enough to outrun missiles and smart enough to predict enemy movement before it happened. It was designed to operate behind enemy lines, alone, the reason it was never used. The war ended too soon. The prototypes were sealed, buried, and forgotten except one, mine. The galaxy decides it wants it, but I didn't get much time to enjoy the revelation. The attack came at dawn. 3 Varkesh strike cruisers dropped out of hyperspace above Port Kestrel, their hulls glowing with weapon charge. Sirens screamed. Civilians ran. A transmission blasted across all channels. Human pilot, the ambassador's voice boomed. Surrender the vehicle. You do not understand what you possess. I stood in my workshop, helmet in my hands. The bike hummed softly. Pilot, it said. Threat level, extinction event. I laughed. Figures. 1 rider against a fleet. I launched straight up. The bike didn't need a ramp. Gravity inverted around us, and suddenly I was screaming into the sky. Atmosphere peeling away like paper. Enemy fighters swarmed. The bike handled them. I didn't even see half the shots it fired. Rail-accelerated microbursts. Directed EMP pulses. Kinetic slashes formed from hard light. Constructs that ripped through alien hulls like they were wet cloth. I didn't aim, I thought. The bike acted within minutes. The fighters were gone. The cruisers fired next. The bike laughed, not literally, but I felt the confidence surge through the neural link. We outran the beams, outturned the missiles. Then the bike released something it had never shown me before. A data packet. The cruiser's systems froze. Human code. Ancient. Still lethal. One by one, the massive ships went dark, drifting helplessly above the planet. Aftermath. I landed in the ruins of the spaceport. Smoke curling into the sky. Military forces arrived. Hours later, human, alien, corporate, government. They all wanted the same thing. The bike. I stood beside it. Helmet under my arm, grease still on my hands, from a life that felt like it belonged to someone else now. An admiral approached me. Son, she said carefully. Do you know what you have? I looked at the bike, at the quiet, waiting power humming beneath its frame. Yeah, I said. I do, she nodded. Then you know we can't let it stay private, I smiled. Good, I said, because it was never meant to. Humanity remembers who it is. The galaxy learned a lesson that day. Humans didn't dominate with numbers, or size, or cruelty. We dominated with ideas, with machines. Built not just to fight, but to think alongside. Us. Project Knight Rider was declassified, not replicated, released. A message, a reminder that somewhere in humanity's forgotten past, We had built something so terrifying that even we decided not to use it, and that if pushed far enough, we still remembered how. As for me, I didn't sell the bike. I became its pilot, because legends aren't meant to sit in junkyards. They're meant to ride. Asterisk.